Hello, guys. Welcome back to the No Food Rules News. Happy Thursday. I feeling much better than last week. Well, physically, I'm not feeling as well as last week, but if you watched last week's episode, we had a rough night. I don't know if I ever told you why it was a rough night. I can tell you now because it feels a little less. Oh gosh, I don't even know that I want to say this. I'll tell you why. So last week, Theo, my dog, he was being very needy. He ate an entire bucket of Halloween candy. Like, I'm talking Reese's, Butterfinger, what was the other one? Snickers. We can talk about it now because he's okay. But it was rough. And why I was like, I don't know that I should say this, because you guys, I made one video and I get comments on it every single day still. I think I made it in July because I think it was around the 4th of July. And it was about an almond mom who didn't want to eat the s'mores, so she told her kid to, just give it to the dog. I kid you not, yesterday, I just looked and there was so many people being like, don't feed chocolate to the dog, don't feed chocolate to the dog, specifically on YouTube. But so I don't even know, people are probably going to come for me now, but Theo was fine. Took all the precautions needed. I felt so guilty that he got into it. He never eats anything from the pantry. We all know, if you watch my Instagram stories, he steals things, but he's never actually eaten anything. So I was utterly shocked, like wrappers and all, you guys. Like I said, he is fine. I'm watching him laying on the couch right now. I'm not saying it's okay to give your dog chocolate. I'm just saying that's why last week I was all over the place. I was a hot mess, and Theo's fine. So, not saying I don't want anyone to misconstrue this, that it's not serious, but Theodore is fine. So mentally, I'm in a better place this week. Physically, I am not. I don't know. I'm so sorry about my voice. I understand if you don't want to listen to me throughout this, but I sound like, but I think we're on the mend. I'm blaming it on my husband because he was traveling last week for work, and I think he brought back some germs. So, but we're on the mend. I think we're good. I feel like there's so many things that I want to update you guys on. If you're new, hello, I'm Colleen, a non-diet registered dietitian. In these episodes, whether you're watching on YouTube, you're listening on the podcast, we always talk about different stories, news topics that we've seen. Sometimes it's studies, sometimes it's pop culture, sometimes it's a mix of everything. And we just kind of chat about it a little bit. If you like this episode, whether you're, like I said, watching the video version, whether you're listening on a podcast, feel free to share it with someone. I love when you guys share this and we can get more in the community here and just more, especially love your YouTube comments, just more discussion around these things, differentiating fact from fiction, having a little fun while we do so. So grab yourself a little coffee, a snack, whatever it is. I'm going to take a sip here. And we will go ahead and get into it. I do have a couple updates for you guys. First, guys, I love this little thing that I bought that just pops. If you watch on YouTube, these little things, like this is like a game changer. I'm obsessed. You guys probably don't care, but if you are a member of the society where I do all my coaching, all my teaching, it's the best community if you are wanting to not diet, still care about how you feel, right? Both mentally and physically. This is the best place for you. You can check out more info in the description. It is November 2nd right now, and November 1st, we do a new challenge every single month. This month, we have a food variety challenge, so really focusing on not only a food variety in a lot of senses, right? Whether it's a new recipe, a new ingredient, that can actually be a bit of gentle nutrition, getting a variety. One thing I say is try to get a variety of color into your day because that can signal different micronutrients. Easy way to just kind of, like I said, vary your actual nutrients that you're getting. But it's also honestly making sure that you plan in like new things can help keep food rules at bay and keep you out of a food rut. There's so many benefits to adding variety to your meal. So that's what we're focusing on this month. If you are a member, Go check that out. I love seeing all of your Facebook posts about it. And then also, we had new recipes drop tomorrow. They're going to be dropping. We have new recipes each month. This week, let me make sure I get all of these correct. We are having 5 drop, and they are really good ones. The pumpkin chicken curry, I've made that like 4 times now. It is absolutely delicious. Easy beef stroganoff, again, also delicious. Oreo brownies, tofu Asian chopped salad, and then teriyaki chicken noodles. So if you're a member, those are coming to our recipe index tomorrow. If you're not a member, what are you doing? Go ahead and join us. I will link to info on that in the description. But November is going to be a good month, guys. And oh my gosh, December is going to be an even better month. I have so many things up my sleeve that I cannot wait to talk to you about. We have some big improvements coming. Get excited. I'll share more about those when they come. So if you remember, check those things out. But we will go ahead now and get into our stories for the week. So what we are going to be talking about, we have a little... Where are we going to start? Just the fun one that is, it's about movement. Where do we want to go with this? Let's see. What do I have on the screen? Okay. Yes. This is the order. I tried to order these. Here we go. Okay, now I got my order. So we're going to talk about a little bit of beverage news, and then we're going to get into some like fitnessy news, and then we have Martha Stewart. I can't fit that into a category. Body image? I don't even know that I'd call it a body image story. Anywho, we got a variety, so let's get to it. Story number 1 says, Billie Eilish's fridge shows the crispy Coke experiment gone wrong. Okay, it says, for weeks, people on TikTok have been sharing their recipes and hacks for turning a simple canned cola into a 5-star beverage. Popular hacks include adding citrus to the soda and serving it over pebbled ice after letting it marinate in the fridge for weeks. Guys, I had no idea crispy Coke was a thing. Like, I am honestly the worst when it comes to TikTok trends. I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok, like, consuming content. But if you're like, oh, I don't know what crispy Coke is called, it sounds bad. Crispy Diet Coke or whatever you want. Crispy Cola is essentially you take, I don't want to say this sounds stupid because I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, but it sounds like, ooh, what is that? It is literally taking a can of cola and keeping it in the fridge for ideally like a couple of weeks. The idea is that, from what I gather, and if you've tried this or you feel passionately about this, please let me know in the comments, is that you keep it in the fridge and then the like it gets more crispy, as people call it, or like bubbly. They kind of say like, so for example, like a fountain soda at like McDonald's would be like a very crispy Coke, from my understanding, because that has a lot of carbonation and it like literally, I get where the word crispy comes from. I almost like, I don't know that I have a better word for it besides crispy. So maybe, yeah, that's actually accurate. A bite, a sharpness to it. I think it hurts, you guys. Like, I think Diet Coke from McDonald's hurts. But essentially, that's what the goal is. And then people will add in like citrus or just random stuff like using a frosted glass or using a straw. I don't think there's anything groundbreaking about that. I think that that's actually a way to add satisfaction to your meal. Sometimes I'll do that depending on like how you plate something or like what utensil you use. Sometimes I'll use like my gold food photography utensils that I just have like a couple of just for little funsies. But yeah, so essentially Billie Eilish, why I wanted to talk about the story was to talk about the whole crispy Coke of it all. But essentially Billie Eilish put it in the freezer. That was something else that people said, like, put it in the freezer for like an hour. And don't quote me on the time, because what she did, she put it in the freezer and then it exploded. So that's what can happen when you put something with carbonation in the freezer. Just an FYI. Don't forget about it. I've done that. I don't know that mine's exploded. I think the can has. I don't think that mine's exploded, but hers was all over her fridge. But like I said, the moral of this news story that I want to talk about was the crispy Diet Coke of it all. And this is a whole other topic, but it's absolutely okay to enjoy a diet soda, even when you don't have food rules. It is not necessarily a diety thing. You shouldn't feel guilt, stress, or anxiety if there's the only regular option available. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't feel like I don't feel that sugar adds extra satisfaction to me. It's just totally personal. Some people feel like, personally, I like the taste of a diet soda. It does taste different versus like I feel like I notice a more syrupiness to like a regular Coke versus a Diet Coke or a Coke Zero. I feel like I can tell a difference. Some people don't, or some people like that one. There is no right or wrong. But if I really wanted something to drink and there was only like regular available or regular Sprite or regular root beer, I do like regular root beer. I also like which A&W actually changed it to zero sugar, which I actually like because they aren't calling it diet anymore. Moral of the story, there's no right or wrong to it, but you shouldn't feel guilt, stress, or anxiety. It's okay to say, you know what, like, I don't feel like I need that sugar rush in the afternoon. Maybe you physically feel like a spike in your blood sugar and then feel fatigue after, or maybe you're just like, again, I don't really notice a difference, so I don't feel like I get extra satisfaction from adding sugar. There's no right or wrong. We just want to make sure it's a food rule or a food preference versus a food rule. Okay? But that's a whole other topic. I hope I explained that. All right. Anywho, okay. I am just like, I thought I was feeling better today, you guys, and I feel like my head is still as congested as I probably sound. But it's fine. We're going to get through it. So, Crispy Coke, if you want to try the trend, go for it. Second story here is, I keep looking at my screen and not at my phone. I need to do that. Okay, so second story is also beverage news. We're talking about Panera bread. So it says, the FDA says it is looking into the death of a college student who drank Panera Bread's charged lemonade. I had never heard of charged lemonade, but I saw this story a lot of places. So the article says the family of the individual, her name's Sarah, who had a heart condition, filed a lawsuit alleging Panera failed to properly warn the public about the ingredients in the highly caffeinated beverage. So essentially, Panera is saying that this is advertised as the ultimate energy drink. It has 390 milligrams of caffeine. Now, to put this in, that I believe was in their largest size. To put this into perspective, the FDA says that 400 milligrams per day of caffeine is safe for adults. And so essentially, one of the big things that I was reading about this is that they offer unlimited refills. So how can they be offering something with unlimited refills that is like at the top of how much someone should consume a day? So I think that's where a lot of that came from, as well as making it very apparent how much caffeine is in that when you get the largest size, or honestly, whatever size. And they did say in the article that she was very cautious of her caffeine intake because she did have this known heart condition, but I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with this, but it just is so bananas to me how much caffeine is put into things. And I feel like whenever I have like a thought on something, it always spirals into another thought. And it truly does become like a lot of times like a societal issue. So what came to mind just now was like, okay, so like why is there so many energy drinks that have super high caffeine contents? Personally, I think like 200 milligrams, like in a beverage, a can, what's Celsius? Celsius has like, I want to say about 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's like a boost of caffeine, right? And so I can't imagine having 400 at a time. I feel like I would feel, and everyone's so different, I feel like I would feel so jittery. But that got me thinking, why do we have such a rise of caffeinated beverages? Does it have to do with like our society always being go, 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 the hustle culture? We're always adding more, more, more. And it's just like, do we like feel like we need to have that much caffeine because we're going a million miles an hour? Sometimes I think about it, guys, and if we think about like where we were in terms of just like the pace of life, like our parents, if I'm a millennial, or even just like going back, right? In the good old days, if we think about like it used to be such a slower time. And I actually talked about this a couple weeks ago. We had a story of someone who went skydiving. I want to say she was 107, 8, 9, somewhere in there. And she went skydiving. And she was saying, like, what does she attribute her long life to? And she was saying, just like my lifestyle, she didn't restrict anything. But one thing I excuse me, had also thought about was like, well, she grew up in a different time when there was like less, not to say that there wasn't stress, but I think stress is such a constant state now. I think it was stressful in different ways, but sometimes I feel like our bodies are just constantly in a state of fight or flight with how busy we are. And so I was just thinking, like, do people feel like we all know Colleen struggles with caffeine. It's something I'm very cognizant of, my caffeine intake, and, making sure I also drink decaf coffee. I never would have thought in my 20s I would have been someone who drinks decaf coffee, but just kind of monitoring that. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? I think, it makes sense. We just feel like we're always doing more. We're always doing more. There's always more being expected of us. And I just think that might have to do with like the amount of caffeine that has been happening. I don't know. I do think there's also a little diet culture aspect to it because people think like, oh, I just give myself more caffeine. I'm going to essentially diet, not give my body enough energy, and then I'm going to have caffeine. There's also the idea that caffeine will, increase your calorie burn because you're like more jittery, but like it's a small amount, guys, that it's not worth having a potential heart attack over. I'm not saying that's what she did, but I just thought this was interesting. Sad. Very, very incredibly sad. Just monitor your caffeine intake, you guys. I think it can be sometimes in a lot of things. There's also, okay. So this morning I woke up and I was editing next Tuesday's YouTube video, which is going to be about my best travel snacks. So we're going to, oh my gosh, it's next week. We're going to Jamaica next week. And so I took you guys with me, told you, like, what do I like to bring for travel snacks? Why do I choose certain things? We talk about it all. It'll come out next Tuesday. And then I'm also going to do some kind of a video when we're in Jamaica. So get excited for that. But one thing I noticed as I was editing it this morning, one of the protein bar boxes that I was looking at said it also had caffeine. And I just think that, like, caffeine, it's not only in drinks, but it's also, I do feel like it's one of those things you have to kind of be cognizant of in terms of, like, is this in my food, in my beverages? I do really like, this comes as no shock to you, Premier Protein, protein shakes, and they have one that's actually really good. It does have, I want to say, like 65 milligrams of caffeine, their cafe latte one. I'll drink that in the morning sometimes, like after I've had a workout or something like that, need some protein. It also does give caffeine, but I do then make sure to be like, okay, I know that had caffeine intake. Maybe I need a little less like actual coffee to get me through the day. I do think it's just something to be cognizant of, especially since it's like it's everywhere, right? So just a little FYI. If you've had that, I would love to hear what the taste of it is. I feel like Panera has been like really on the beverage game lately. They also have come out with, which I actually really want to try. I don't know if they call it a smoothie or a shake or a milkshake, but they have a kitchen sink. I'm going to Google this real quick because I want to try this. It's been on my list to try. Kitchen sink shake. I can't type, you guys. I cannot type. Okay, here we go. It says, Panera turned its best desserts into milkshakes. So they I think these are still available. So they have 3 rich milkshakes, the kitchen sink, the fudge brownie swirl, and strawberry cheesecake. So their kitchen sink cookie is delicious. The shake is made up of cookie pieces, caramel syrup, sprinkle of sea salt, vanilla ice cream, and ice with a drizzle of caramel and whipped cream on top. I really want to try that. If you've had that, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know. Like I said, it's on my list, but I feel like just Panera has been on their bevy game. Like I said, we got 2 beverage stories to get us rolling today. Okay, moving on from beverages, and this story just brings such a smile to my face, you guys. Going on to fitness. This article says, I'm 89 and in great shape. This $200 tool is my surprising fitness secret. It says, after witnessing her mother-in-law suffer Alzheimer's, Rachel Williams has made it her mission to try different activities to stay sharp mentally and physically. Oh, there's so much I'm going to talk about with this. It says she bought a $200 robot that serves her ping pong balls during the pandemic, and now she's competing in national competitions. There's so much I love about this article, so let's just talk about the first part where she says she is trying different activities to stay sharp mentally and physically. You guys, physical activity is so much more than just what it may or may not do to our bodies. For me, you guys hear me talk about this a lot, like, I work from home. I'm currently sitting in my basement alone right now. My husband's upstairs. My dog's on the couch. But I don't get a ton of social interaction. So for me, having that social interaction is a huge reason of why I didn't go this morning, but why I go to the gym in the morning when I do. And also, I think it was last week, I went, and one of my literal thoughts was, I'm really struggling. It was a rough week last week with Theo, just being very busy. And I was like, I need to feed off of these other people's energy. I have the most amazing people who go to my gym. And I was just like, I just need their dose of positivity in my day. I love group fitness classes, so that's part of the reason, like, why I talk about, like, other people so much. But there's so many more benefits beyond what may or may not change with your body, like staying sharp, preventing disease, feeling good, right? Mental health. There's so many benefits. So I love that. And I also love that she thought outside of the box on what physical activity meant, because it does not have to mean a structured fitness class if you don't want it to. A lot of people think, like, oh, I personally love group fitness class, right? It's my favorite. But like, get me going around a room. My husband calls, so tomorrow's Friday, my husband calls my Friday morning class that I go to, it's Body Attack. Highly recommend. Very fun, by Les Mills. But he calls it my dance class because we all go around and, like, it's just so funny, but it's so fun. I love it. But it doesn't have to look like that, right? It can literally look like anything. There is no right or wrong. So I just love that she thought outside the box with this. And it also shows she's 89. Guys, you can make any sort of change. You can start any sort of habit at literally any age. Like I said, I feel like as I've been talking about this, I've just been smiling through this whole story because there's just so much goodness in it. Oh, gotta love it. Rachel Williams, you're an inspiration to us all. Oops, went to the wrong one. Okay, so just got you, girly, so riled up. Okay, the next article is also about fitness. It says how your seasonal chores count towards your fitness goals. It says, so I am in the northern United States. I fall in this category. For those in the northern United States, heading into autumn means raking leaves, packing up summer clothes, pulling coats and other warm clothes out of storage. What a lot of people don't realize is that those seasonal chores are functional exercises that can burn more calories than traditional fitness activities. In fact, raking leaves can burn more calories in an hour than brisk walking or weight training. What's more, because seasonal chores like raking are considered moderate intensity cardiovascular activity, time spent preparing for the fall counts towards recommended 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. So you guys know I'm not about the caloric burn of a workout, right? But I do think that kind of puts it into perspective of, like, we feel like unless it's not a structured fitness class, it doesn't count. And that's just not true. Like, literally living your life and doing the things you need to do is exercise, right? And I have to give my fitness instructor, I don't even like calling her a fitness instructor because I feel like she's so much more of like a motivational speaker, like an inspiration. Holly, you're fabulous. I don't think you watch this, but uh, she always talks about how like we're training for life. So another class that I love is body pump, which is like a strength training based workout. And she always like brings it back to like, this is going to help you go down and like pick something up off the ground. Like functional exercise is super important. It doesn't have to be like doing a bicep curl, right? Thinking about like how does my body move in daily life is huge, right? Also, side note, I don't rake the leaves. My husband does that. I am very much so. The division of labor, friends. I will help shovel. I don't mind doing that. Sometimes I like doing it because it just gets me outside in the winter. I do not like doing leaves. So I'm like, you handle the outside. I'll work on the inside. It's just like so nice. Division of labor, right? Anywho, so just a reminder again that also I think this shows that like you don't have to do structured activity if you don't want to. Like that, just living your life can count towards that physical activity, right? So even with our girly Rachel, with her ping pong, like that was a structured activity, but just living your life and doing things can also count towards your physical activity. So just a reminder to rethink what we think physical activity is. Yes, it can be structured classes. I love them, but it doesn't have to be that and only that. If you are just, it doesn't mean that you didn't do enough if you didn't do a structured class, right? Absolutely not. Okay, our last story is about Martha Stewart. I don't know why I said it like that, you guys. Martha Stewart says she still dresses like a teenager and why it matters. So she said, I've dressed the same since I was 17. If you look at my pictures on my Instagram, I look pretty much the same. Stewart isn't the only public figure to come under scrutiny for the way she dresses. When photos were snapped in April of 2021 of First Lady Jill Biden, 72, wearing patterned tights, many misidentified the hosiery as fishnet stockings, and some were quick to label it as too old to be dressing some like that. Similarly, Diane Keaton, 77, made waves when she sported thigh-high boots. So I think this just shows, like, the first thing that kind of came to mind for me here was that, like, A, wear whatever the heck you want. B, why is it that as women age, we feel like we have to cover up or that, and I think it just goes back to the unrealistic and sexist beauty standards that as women age, it's bad, or as women age, it's unattractive. But when men do the exact same thing, it is their silver fox, right? They're more attractive as they age. That's just bananas because it's just another unfair expectation of women that we shouldn't age, right? What the heck? I just think that there's like so ageism, sexism. It was just like, oh my Lanta. Moral of the story, wear what you want, forget what other people say. In women aging, and I feel like I've kind of like noticed this lately. I am in my 30s. And I feel like I've really noticed just different things about my skin. I was actually watching a video that I shot about even just 2 years ago. And I was like, I look so much more youthful in that video. And the average person probably wouldn't notice, but I notice because I literally look at my face more than your average person. Like I was editing that YouTube video this morning, was looking at my face for 2 hours. And like that is like it was a vlog. So it was like up close and personal to my face. I look at my face way more than the average person, but yeah, it's okay to age. It's okay for your body should change. That's a sign that you are living life, and that's an amazingly beautiful thing. So those are our 5 stories for today. I hope you guys liked them. Be sure to let me know. And like I said, please share this with a friend, a family member, anyone who you think would love this episode or just this concept in general. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to share with you one very random thing. In the YouTube video that is going to go out on Tuesday about snacks, I got press-on nails. And just an update, they're still going strong. We're almost a week. I shot the video last Thursday. So they're still going strong. So if you watch the video, yes, they do hold up. And my ones I have on my toes are still there. If you're like, Colleen, what are you talking about? You'll figure it out in the video. I talk about it. But with that, you guys, I am going to go. Is my coffee still hot? I heated it up extra. Guys, before I got a Yeti, I was like, those are like overrated. They're not. They keep stuff hot. So, anywho, I could just sit here and talk to you forever. And Theodore is looking at me. I know, bud. I know. So, we're going to go. Be sure to, if you're on YouTube, like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. I love chatting with you guys. Let me know what your favorite one was. And if you are listening on the podcast, rate, review, subscribe, all of the things. It is the best way to give back to myself and any content creator is just to show them a little bit of love in that sense. I know it feels annoying and it does take like 2 seconds. And I always have to, it feels like pulling teeth when I do it. So like I get it, but it truly does mean the world. So I'd love it if you could just take a hot second today, rate, review, subscribe, follow, comment, just one or any of those things would be helpful. So anywho, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you on Tuesday in the video, and I'll see you on Instagram in probably like 5 minutes. So talk to you later, guys.